feel like you're falling behind and can never catch up with your to-do list? You're always running on E and you feel like your productivity is just never enough. You just feel like there's never enough hours in the day to complete everything that needs to get done. Well, I want to tell you this is the reason why your productivity is suffering and why you feel like your to-do list is never ending and you're constantly just feeling overwhelmed, stressed, and can never get through a day. Because I was like this when I was procrastinating. I was like this when I was constantly putting things off. Every single time I put things off, it just like accumulated even more the next day. And I just felt like there was never enough time to do anything and I can never ever catch up. And so I'm here to tell you my secrets on how to finally actually get through your to-do list and how to actually finally get through the day feeling productive and feeling like you've actually accomplished something. Because getting your to-do list checked off is the greatest feeling, but it's not going to be like this every single day, and we need to learn how to manage our time wisely to be able to accomplish everything that needs to be accomplished. So the thing about your overwhelming to-do list is that everything seems bigger than it really is. Every single misplaced item, no matter how big or how small, seems like it's bigger than it really appears because everything is overwhelming. So any little small pencil that's out of place, every sock that's missing, every single blanket that's not folded up just creates a bigger problem, and you just feel so much more overwhelmed and stressed out than you need to be. And it just makes it that much more harder to tackle your to-do list because you're constantly walking into a room being like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, and it just becomes overwhelming. So here I'm going to tell you why your productivity is suffering and what you can do about it today. So if you guys don't know who I am, my name is Geraldine and I make videos all about productivity, goal setting, and procrastination. Procrastination. So if that's the type of content you love to consume, then don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Also click the notification bell so you do know when my talking today is bad. So you do know when I do upload, and follow me on all my social media. I'm at Geraldine Silva. Okay, so number one thing to calm down your brain, girlfriend, is to make a small, simple brain dump. Not small, I should say simple. Make a simple brain dump, okay? This does not have to be elaborate. This does not have to be perfect. This does not have to be beautiful. Just make a simple brain dump of all the things that you have to do today or tomorrow or next week or next month. It doesn't matter. Make a giant to-do list. Make a giant brain dump of all the things that you have to do, all the things that are looming in your head, every single task that you have to get done, every single little thing that you want to do at some point. Just write it all down. This is going to relieve your brain and feel like you're putting all of these thoughts somewhere and not living rent-free floating around in your head. You're writing these down, so you're putting these out of your body and you're kind of just releasing it out. And we do this A, to yes, relieve our brain, and then B, to be able to organize our tasks into 4 different categories. And I've mentioned these categories before, but if you're new, the 4 different categories, which I call it the funnel of tasks, is number 1, the do tasks. These are things that are urgent, need to get done today. There's like the deadlines today. Plans, so things that we're planning for the next day, planning for the next week, the next month, the next year, are plan tasks. So these are things we can set in stone and write it out. And then number 3 is delegate, so things that are necessary but not important for you to do. So things like chores, or usually it's always chores. So chores, or let's say you need to go do an oil change that you can probably delegate to somebody else. These are just necessary things that need to get done but doesn't need to be necessarily done by you. And then the last thing is to delete. So anything that honestly is so unimportant and just it's something that you may want to do at some point, but then you're like, you know what, this actually isn't realistic for me, so therefore I'm just gonna delete this because it's unimportant. Or just unimportant things, like just things that are just unimportant, not necessary, and not urgent, not needed in your life. You could just go ahead and delete and declutter. out of that brain file. So these are the 4 different categories that we want to funnel our tasks into. So this gives you kind of a visual of how to organize your tasks. And I do this on a weekly basis, because on a weekly basis things are just popping up, and the more we need to stay on top of things. That's how you're going to stay on top of things, is by continuously doing this one simple habit of funneling your tasks into this system, so that you can organize your week by what needs to be done, what needs to be planned, and what needs to be delegated. And then obviously, you know, delete and declutter is just its own little separate pile. So number 2, you need to decide what the elephant in the room is. So this is the number one thing that has changed my productivity as a whole. So like I said in the beginning, when you are looking at all the tasks that you have to do, every single task seems bigger than it actually is. Everything seems like an elephant in the room. And what do I mean by elephant in the room? Is that this is the number one thing that's causing you the most anxiety. This is the thing that's like, I'm pushing off, I am procrastinating, therefore I'm procrastinating every other thing, and I'm putting everything off. And so you put off until you can't anymore, until your stuff is just overwhelming and you have to get something done. So the elephant in the room is, you have to identify what is the elephant, because like I said, everything appears bigger than it really is. A pencil misplaced is not the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room could be the fact that you haven't done your laundry and it's overflowing on your bed and on your chair. And so you're thinking that, oh, I need to declutter the files that are on my laptop. That is the elephant in the room. And you're thinking that's what's causing you the anxiety. It's like, no. The pile of laundry is probably what's causing you all of this anxiety, and probably causing you wanting to procrastinate. You need to identify what is the number one thing that's causing you this anxiety, this overwhelmness, this stress. What is the number one thing, and you need to tackle it. You need to get the elephant out of the room by actually doing the task. A lot of the times, we don't want to identify this elephant in the room because it takes a long time to tackle, because it's huge. It's the biggest thing in the room. It's the biggest thing that's causing all this anxiety. So you think by staying busy, by doing these little miniature tasks, that you're just going to feel so much more better from not having to tackle that elephant in the room. But I promise you, once you set aside, because usually it's about an hour or 2 hours of having to tackle this elephant for it to finally get done and for you to feel the relief. And then I promise you, after you're done tackling that huge elephant in the room, doing all these other little tasks are only going to be the cherry on top of the icing of the cake that you have finished. Okay, you can't start with the icing and not have a cake to put the icing on. You need to start with the base. You need to start with creating the foundation of the cake and then build upon that. These analogies, I hope it's making sense. But yes, we want to tackle the elephant in the room. So this has been such a game changer, because I used to believe that I needed to put off the elephant in the room until a later time where it was more convenient, or when I felt like it, or I needed to do all this other stuff before I needed to get done with that. But then I started to realize, I was like, why don't I just tackle the elephant in the room? Why don't I just identify the elephant in the room, get it over with, and then everything else, like me doing everything else, is only going to put me in a much better headspace to do, because this is what's causing me anxiety. So usually for me, it's always me filming these videos. These videos take such a long time. I'm not able to multitask at all, because I have to sit here and basically talk for 30 minutes. And so that's a long time, because I have to do my hair, my makeup, and I have to sit down, which is an hour of my time. And I truly cannot multitask at all to do anything else, because I have to sit here and film. And these videos take a long time for me to do. And these are usually the elephant in the room. When the weekend comes and I have to film these videos, I'm like, oh my god, I'm so stressed out, because I have to clean up my room, and I have to go do all of these other chores that I have to do. And so I start thinking that everything is the elephant in the room, when in reality it's like, no, the elephant in the room is me having to film this video because I feel stressed at the fact that I know if I don't get this done as soon as possible, I will not have time later. And so I would rather get all of these other little tasks that I can do later, but I'm choosing not to, I'm choosing to do all these little tasks first before I even get the chance to fight the elephant in the room. And by the time I get to fight the elephant in the room, I don't even have the time to do it. And now I feel even more stressed because now I have to see if tomorrow I have enough time to tackle this elephant in the room. And so you see how when you put off the biggest thing in the room, the more anxiety and the more it bleeds into the next days, because you do not want to tackle, you do not want to identify what the elephant in the room is. This was the biggest game changer. I did want to mention that I do have a workbook. If you are just somebody who is overwhelmed, stressed out, and does not know how to stop procrastinating, then I have a workbook for you. This is a 29-page workbook that is a helpful guide for those of you who just cannot for the life of you get yourself up to a place where you can be disciplined, where you can be motivated, where you can start achieving your goals. This is a 29-page workbook where I am giving you a day-by-day guide on how to stop procrastinating and how to build discipline. This is a workbook that I've gotten so much positive feedback on, that is so helpful, that people have told me that it's so helpful, that it's so motivating, that it's just opened up their perspective on how they've been procrastinating in their life, and really has given them the tools to start becoming more disciplined, to start achieving their goals. So if you are those type of people that just cannot for the life of you just get unstuck, then this workbook is for you. It's called the 7 Days Workbook Guide to Stop Procrastinating and Build Discipline. I'll link it down below in my website. I'll link it down below in the description. It's over on my website, and also you can but if you do not want to purchase this workbook, then I do also have a free PDF file on 8 different ways how to overcome procrastination. It's over again on my website. All you have to do is sign up for my emailing list called the Silva Success Strategies, where you will get emails just like this one sent over to you on a weekly basis. It is a 1-minute read of one tactical habit that you can start changing today to start building success for yourself. So you get these on a weekly basis. So if you want to sign up for the newsletters, you will get that, and you will also get the freebie, the 8 different ways on how to overcome procrastination. So those are the little announcements that I had for you. So let's get on to the last tip. So number 3 is to tackle one monster at a time. We want to tackle everything. We want to multitask. We want to just get everything done as soon as possible and overwhelm yourself at that point. But my advice to you is to tackle one monster at a time. Tackle one big thing at a time. It's literally, you know how people say it's kind of like a snowball effect? Well, this is the opposite. You start at the top of the mountain and you work your way down to a little pebble. Okay, you start with the biggest rock and you work your way down to a little pebble. So we have the elephant in the room. From there, you are tackling one monster at a time, and you're tackling the biggest things first and then moving your way down to the smallest little tasks. So to give you an example, my elephant in the room today was me filming this video. The next task after that is to get all my laundry done and fold my blankets and just kind of clean up in my room. That's the next task. After that, I have to organize my daughter's birthday party stuff, so that's the next task that I need to do. And then finally, I have to go buy flowers for tomorrow. So it's starting with the biggest elephant in the room and then working my way down to the little things, the things that are like, okay, now that I've done the big gigantic monsters, now that I've done the big gigantic elephants, I can work my way down to the little monkeys and the little pigs and the little cows. You know, you move your way down to the farm, all the way down the zoo. And in retrospect, this is going to just help you a lot more and the thing is that you're not always going to get done. You're not always going to finish you're not always going to finish the little small tasks. You're always going to have those kind of left over, and you can just bounce them to the next day. But what I did want to say is that the big monsters that you have to tackle are always going to require the most amount of time. So you're thinking, if I get more of the little ones done first, then I'm doing a lot more than if I were to just tackle this one thing, because this one thing is going to take hours versus this little mini task that take me 15 minutes, and then I could get all of this stuff done. Like how many things I could check off of my checklist. But in reality, the more you do is not the best strategy. Actually getting one thing done and one big thing done is the better strategy. So when you're tackling one monster at a time, we want to focus on the one biggest monster. So you tackle one big one, one big one, one big one, until you have time left over to tackle all of these little mini monsters. Tackle the things that are going to take the longest, because that's probably why you set time apart to tackle these one things, and they take a long time. Like me folding my clothes are going to take me a while. Me folding my blankets is going to take me a while. Me having to clean my daughter's like party stuff is going to take me a while. Me having to go and buy flowers is going to take me a while. All of this stuff is going to take me a while, and I understand that. But I want to we kind of like fool ourselves and trick ourselves like, oh, me putting my daughter's shoes away, that I can get that done. I can probably throw away all these papers and get that done really quickly, and maybe like clean up my desk. I'll get that done really quickly. But again, all of these little mini tasks don't really do much versus the big things that you actually have to get done. The big tasks that take the most amount of time. And that is when you're going to start actually becoming productive, because all these bigger tasks, if you don't take care of these the same day, they're going to bleed into the next day, and you're going to have a new monster to tackle the next day. And so imagine having multiple things, multiple big monsters, multiple big elephants in the room that you have to tackle. And then the more inclined you're going to want to procrastinate, because you're like, oh my god, I have like 15 elephants in the room. I don't know where to begin. I feel overwhelmed. I feel so stressed. I don't even know which monster to go after. So you tackle one monster at a time. You start with the biggest elephant in the room and you work your way down. And this is how you're going to change your productivity around. This is why you're suffering. It's because you think you're getting a good deal by doing all of these little mini tasks versus actually doing one big task. And I'm telling you, it's not a better deal. The more you save, the more you buy, the more you save. It's actually the more you buy, the more you spend. Okay? So tackle one thing at a time and just get it done, because at the end of the day, you're going to feel so much more better because of it. But yeah, alrighty. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you guys on the next one. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Also, click the notification bell so you do know when I do upload. And follow me on all my social media. I'm at Geraldine Silva. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye! Mwah.